Hi everyone. Let's talk about selfies and stickers and other devices for us to express our appreciation or non-appreciation or even hatred towards internet content. Now, the thing is that emojis and likes and dislikes are all over the internet, mostly on the social networks. And they seem to be a pretty neat thing. They help us express something. But are they such a neat thing? Perhaps they are not. And perhaps we are not really paying attention to the dark side of them, even when they are so colorful. The thing is that the internet might be training us for a long time now to constantly evaluate everything and everyone in a constant way and in an easy, superficial way, without real knowledge, without real thought about it. It's easier and easier to offend or to get offended at a surface level. Now, the trouble is that our emotions, as I have said many times, they work a lot with imagery, also sensations, of course. But the emotional world is full of images of all sorts. So, of course, primitive people in the past, they needed to constantly evaluate, to constantly scan and evaluate their environment for threats, for pleasant things, for food, for enjoyment, for suffering, and so on. And they constantly would evaluate the images around them because that was useful for survival. Nowadays, if we just do the same, resorting to imagery to express instant emotional responses, we are just being primitive, perhaps. But indeed, when we look at the social networks, we acquired this kind of habit, a nasty one, of evaluating constantly what we see, what we listen to, what comes around. We are even invited to do that. And when we see some content, some movie, some image, some comment that received lots of likes, in a way we feel that it's now safe to share it because there is such a huge number of people who approved it, who seem to have liked it. So we know that the majority probably will not move against us if we share that kind of content. Now, this is, of course, the kind of mechanism that is easily used against us, so that because we are afraid of being unpopular, we only share safe things and we try to be together with the majority, with the vast group. And it's easy for some lords of the internet and for their algorithms to make us believe that the majority goes in a certain way, moves in a certain direction. The same way we might be afraid of sharing or expressing something that might receive lots of dislikes. And of course, some contents they are just going to be blocked and censored and diminished by algorithms and by internet censorship. Now, the thing is that when we constantly evaluate, we feel entitled to constantly evaluate. And we gain this feeling sometimes of superiority when we decide who is good and who is bad, what is right, what is wrong, and we express it in a fast, easy way. But it's also a surface way. We don't really know. We don't really know. We have never met some of the people who publish. We don't know their reasons. We don't really know what they are about. Many times we also don't know actually how right or wrong, ethically or scientifically are some contents. We just move and immediately do something at the emotional level using imagery. That's perhaps not such a good idea. And besides, when we keep evaluating each other and we keep being tribal about it, because we like to be together with some people moving against others, when we become so tribal about it, we are allowing, again, the lords of the internet to divide us constantly against each other and to manipulate us as easily with emojis, likes, dislikes, and this feeling we might get that we are together with others in disliking or liking or emojiing others with all sorts of expressions that seem so colorful and funny indeed. Now, love is really something that goes against censorship, dictatorship, control of others. As a nice lady was telling me just a couple of days ago, love is typically the most revolutionary thing we can get. And if we place love, real love, at a high level within ourselves, then we have a tendency to approve, to like, to include, not to censor, and we have a tendency to try to understand instead of evaluating many times in a negative way immediately. So love helps us expand our awareness, helps us open to the world and to other people instead of blocking, censoring, placing apart, imprisoning, and so on. And I think to some extent, real love is against emojiing, liking, and disliking. We also have a typical ancestral tendency, and sometimes also a scientific sort of tendency, to feel that we know something when we are able to place some undertitle under it, when we give it a name. So the classificatory emphasis of the ancient natural sciences needed to first classify something like animals, like plants, like minerals into different categories. We needed to, in a way, tell them apart before we dived into knowing more about each of those uh, examples of the vegetal kingdom, the animal kingdom, even the human kingdom, or the mineral one. And we get an illusion that we know something when we have a word for it, when we have a title. Uh, Sometimes we don't. Actually, sometimes when we feel that we know, we have this illusion, I have a name, eventually have concept about it, so I know something. My knowledge stops. I have this delusion that I know something, then I perhaps I feel I don't need to know anything else. Everything is there already. So when I assign an emoji or a like or dislike to something I'm just reading or looking at or listening to, I have this illusion sometimes that I know it. I already evaluated it. I know if it is good or bad. I know its nature, which I don't at all. I'm cultivating unfairness, unbalance, poor, fast judgment. That goes against love, that goes against humanity, that goes against compassion, that goes for dictatorship, that goes for social division. So let's consider doing something radically different. And if you like this video, please don't just emoji it, Preferably avoid emojiing it if you like. Share, comment. If you like, express it in some way, but preferably in a deep, loving way. And I'll be around. Thank you for watching.